Hi, fine humans. Welcome, welcome. Today we are having a chat about the secret weapon that you can use when you're looking at growth. Everybody wants to be in a growth mindset, and everybody's talking about growth, and everybody's like, okay, I want to grow, I want to grow, I want to grow. And I'd like to introduce you to Eileen because she has a very secret, cool, unexpected suggestion if you are interested in growing. Hi, beauty.
Hello, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah,
Yes.
we were just chatting off camera before we dug in and talking about growth in the month of April is very relevant because obviously we're in spring. Things are starting to grow, come up through the ground. Life feels like it's getting back to maybe normal if you kind of hibernate over winter, which I deeply encourage. Um, and yeah, one of the things that I think doesn't get talked about or acknowledged enough when we're looking at periods of growth in our lives or trying to step into those growth moments is that for us to grow, we need to be able to grieve properly first. And
Okay, hang on. I have a question then. I have a
yeah,
question. What happens if we don't grieve?
if we don't grieve, I really believe that we come up against a wall. We get stuck. You may grow, but it's this growth where you're almost like pushing down those feelings or growing around it, and there often comes a sense of increasing overwhelm or panic or discomfort. I mean, growth is uncomfortable anyways, and if we haven't tended to our griefs and what has had to die or be let go in order for us to shift into that new version of ourselves or that whatever it is we're growing into, I think it catches up to us in the end, and it holds us back from being able to truly make those shifts and grow into who we're becoming.
So, what are three things, two or three things you would tell anybody that they may want to consider or do in their practice? Like, how do we, because we don't know how to grieve. So, how do we, what are a
Mm,
couple tips we can do to say, okay, here's how to, some pathways to help you grieve? Because grief is complicated, it's sticky, it's weird. So, what do we do?
yeah, that's a really good question. I would say that the first thing that I tell people often is that it is really important to cry. Um, Women are often better at it than men, but I do think it's important for both sexes to be able to cry and let go, and that it is, in fact, safe to do so, especially if we've repressed our emotions for a lot of our lives. It can feel really scary to let go. Like, if I start crying, I'm going to cry forever and it'll never be over. And I promise you, as somebody who has literally lain on the kitchen floor gasping for air, it does subside, and it goes faster than you think it will. And if you struggle to get into that state and allow that to happen, things like freehand journaling, just start writing. Am I grieving? And you might not even know where to start, but just let that stream of consciousness flow. It might bring up the tears. You start being like, oh, that is what's going on. Or practice like breath work can be really, really helpful for shifting you into that release and allow kind of states.
Nice. Wow. Okay. So crying, freehand journaling, and maybe some breath work.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. What happens when we can carry our griefs? Like, how does it help us grow when we can carry our griefs more fully? That we don't feel like they're stuffed or stuck or whatever, but if we're actually just carrying grief in that.
It becomes something, uh, it's almost like composting. And so this is where it ties back into the cycle of the year. Those plants in the fall have to die, even if they're alive underground, their foliage needs to die to nourish the soil and give fertile ground for the new growth to happen from. And so for ourselves too, our griefs are like that. They're compost for our souls and for our new growth, and they can actually create us into the stronger plants or the stronger and more nourished and whole versions of ourselves as we go forward.
Love it. Good. So compost your grief.
Yeah.
Let it recycle and nourish you in a whole new, fresh way. And that's the
Yeah.
pathway to growth. Oh, I love it. All right. Thank you for that tip, Beauty. That was amazing. If anybody's interested in working with Eileen, she's a beautiful life coach. She's a cyclical coach. She works with women who
Mhm.
love, who want to love rest.
Yes, both.
Yeah. So just reach out if you want to connect with Eileen and book a session with her. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Eileen.